It looks like we're waiting for appointed defense counsel and the prosecutor.
Understood. Just for everybody's benefit, if you got my list where it changed a little bit, Matthew Walker will be first up, and then I'll jump back up to the top of my list if you have my list.
Okay, thank
All
you
right,
for
you
the
bet.
information.
Yep, he's sitting here. We're ready to go.
Okay, thank
All right,
you.
you bet.
Prosecutor.
Good afternoon, everyone. It looks like everyone's here, and we will be starting with Matthew Walker, according to Mr. Doyle.
Correct.
All right.
We ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Hello, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Mr. Walker. I'm Judge Schultz with the Kansas City, Kansas Municipal Court. It's my understanding that you aren't being held on the city cases, but since you are in custody on county cases, we decided we would go ahead and see you on the city cases. Because the city is seeking jail time on at least one or more of the charges against you, we have appointed an attorney, and we are going to give you an opportunity to speak to him today. If you would leave the headphones on, but tell the person that gave you the headphones that you need to go to the virtual breakout room. That way you and your attorney can have a private conversation.
Okay.
And Ms. Valdivino will send out that invite.
Hey, Keith, just want to confirm, are you still 5085?
I am, yes.
All right, thanks, buddy.
Had to double check.
No worries, I get it, trust me. I don't know my phone number either.
Mr. Probst, did you have an opportunity to speak to your client?
I did, Your Honor, and I've also been able to visit with Mr. Rankin, and I think we have a mutual accord in this particular matter. The city's willing to amend their offer to a 30-day jail sentence, no probation, no drug and alcohol evaluation. There will be a fine of $150. My client will need 45 to 60 days to pay that. He will be pleading guilty to 1 count of possession of drug paraphernalia in case number 87609. The city will dismiss the remaining charges. I have advised my client that he has a right to a trial, the right to the assistance of our office, the right to come in and review the discovery in this particular case. And if he were to take the case to trial and lose, he'd have the right to appeal. He indicated to me that he understands those rights and that he's willing to waive those rights in exchange for the guilty plea today. And then, Judge, of course, we'd ask that you grant him time served in this particular case. He's been incarcerated, I believe, since August 16th of this year.
Okay, Mr. Walker, the plea offer that Mr. Probst just spoke about, is that your understanding of the plea, a 30-day jail sentence? And I'm so sorry, I can't remember if it was $100 or $150.
150.
Yeah, $150 fine, and that you would be requesting credit for time served.
Yes, Your Honor.
And those rights that he was talking about, the right to a trial, assistance of counsel, review the discovery, confront witnesses, and to appeal if you're found guilty at trial. Is that your understanding of those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
Knowing all of that, are you wanting to accept the plea offer?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I will sentence you to 30 days, give you credit for time served. And we will continue this for payment. Give me a moment. I've got to grab a calendar. Sorry. We will put this for payment February 10th at 1 p.m. If you're still in custody, we can address it on video. Otherwise, you either need to make a payment or appear in person February 10th at 1 o'clock.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you.
Just to make sure he understands, you can pay it beforehand. You don't have to pay it on that.
Yes, that's true.
Okay. Okay. That's great.
Yeah, yeah. All right, thank you.
Thank you all.
Have a good day.
You too.
All right, next pod, Judge Anderson or Laughlin. I just don't know who'll show up first.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, back soon.
Did he say Anderson?
That's what I heard.
I don't see an Anderson on the docket, and I don't see a plea offer on an Anderson, so I don't know what that one's about.
Give me a minute to look at my list.
Yeah, I'm looking.
I see a Lewis Anderson.
Did that get set this morning?
I don't-
I'm looking at your I'm looking at your thing from yesterday at 9 a.m. that says,
Yeah, it did get set this morning.
okay, I didn't see an email on that one. That's why. So, okay. Keith, can you look at it and give me a plea offer real quick?
Yep, yeah, I'll get you something sent over here.
Thank you, brother.
What did he say the other person was?
Laughlin. Laughlin is on there.
Okay.
Jared Laughlin. Can you look to see if you sent that Either to
I
me or to the ADC, because I'm not seeing
I
your,
don't think I sent something this morning because I was in very briefly at 7:30 and then I had to take my daughter to 2 appointments.
okay, no
and
worries. I'm
Didn't
not,
get back until close to lunch.
okay, no worries. I'm not trying to be critical. I'm just trying to make sure I'm not missing something.
Yeah, no, you're not missing anything. I think the only thing I've sent to ADC is the confirmation that Mr. Weaver did decide to dismiss
Eric White,
Mr. White's case.
yes, I did see that.
Yeah, that's the only thing I've sent today.
Okay, and that was the one where he was found incompetent across the street, and so he was going to Osawatomie, right?
He's in Osawatomie and has been since May 4th.
Okay, all
And
right,
I think that's factored into their decision. You know, sometimes they come back quickly and the
yeah,
city decides to pursue. And I think due to the length of time that he's been at Osawatomie without seeming to have competency restored, they decided to dismiss.
perfect.
I'm also going to ask Mr. Weaver to review Torian Scott. His case has been continued to January 13th to give them time, but I just haven't sent the email to Mr. Weaver and ADC yet, asking him to see if the city is still wanting to pursue Mr. Scott's cases.
I am Mr. Scott's attorney across the street. So yeah, he was found to be in, we just had I think we just, or no, that might have been on Johnson. Hold on a second. I can tell you on Scott here in a second. Why is it not searching? God, that makes me so mad.
I don't know if he has an hearing upcoming for competency or if he was found competent. I can't remember, but I remember whatever I saw, I thought, I wonder if the city is aware and do they still want to pursue?
No,
Yeah,
we
he
have,
has a competency hearing set, it says January 7th.
that's correct, at 2 o'clock.
Okay. So the city may want to wait until after that, to be quite honest, which is fine. But I thought I'd put it on their radar.
And pardon me, Judge, Mr. Anderson will be first. Lewis Anderson. He's sitting right here.
Thank you. Just give me
You're
1
welcome.
minute to turn my camera
Sure.
back on.
Sure.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Anderson. It looks like you're not being held on the city cases. It looks like there is something with the county, but on the city cases, it looks like if you are convicted or plead guilty, the city is seeking jail time. So you have been appointed an attorney. If you would just leave the headphones on and tell the person that gave you the headphones that you need to go to the virtual breakout room, that way you can have a conversation with your attorney.
All right.
Okay?
Nope.
Yep, just,
We ready? No, leave those on. Ready for the breakout room. Just, yeah. put
Yes.
those on. I'll take care of it for you.
All right, just hit send on that, Ray.
Did you send it to my Wyco KCK or my Probe Stash Law account?
I believe you the white coat.
Okay, perfect. Oh, there it is. It just came through. Thank you.
Mhm.
I'm not part of the court system,
Yeah.
you know?
I can't help you. I'm sorry, my friend. I'm just letting you know I can't help. Sorry.
Mr. Probst, did you have an opportunity to speak to your client?
I did, Your Honor. We had a very productive conversation and I discussed with Mr. Anderson what his current charges are. Judge, I also received an attorney recommendation from the city. My client is wanting to take that recommendation. I don't know if you have it in front of you, but ultimately, Your Honor, he's willing to plead guilty to the disorderly conduct with a ticket ending in 80678. The city would dismiss the other three charges, 2 trespassing charges and a destruction of city property, 0 fines or costs in this particular matter. The city would recommend jointly with the defendant a 30-day jail sentence, credit for time served. He's been there since July of this year. Judge, I've reviewed all of that information with my client, advised him of his rights to trial, the assistance of counsel, the right to review discovery, and the right to appeal if he loses at trial. He's indicated he's willing to waive those rights in exchange for a guilty plea today, Your Honor.
Mr. Anderson, I want to make sure we're all on the same page. Is that your understanding that you'd be entering a guilty plea to 1 count of disorderly conduct? There would be a 30-day jail sentence, that you would be asking for credit for time served, no fines, and everything else would be dismissed?
Yeah.
And is that your understanding of your rights, that you have the right to a trial, assistance of counsel, review of discovery, confront witnesses, and to appeal if you're found guilty at trial?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
knowing all of that, are you wanting to accept the plea?
Yeah.
Okay, so I will sentence you to 30 days, give you credit for time served. Your city matters will be closed. Thank
Alright.
you. Have a good day, Mr.
Yeah.
Anderson.
Just checking you were done there, Judge.
Yes.
Okay, Jared Laughlin next. It's gonna take a few minutes to get him here.
Okay, thank you.
And Judge interrupting, Mr. Laughlin's ready.
Fantastic. Good afternoon, Mr. Laughlin.
Yes.
I'm Judge Schultz with the Kansas City, Kansas Municipal Court. You're not
Okay.
being held on your city case. You're just being held on the county case. But since you are in custody, we figured we would see you. It
Okay.
looks like if you are convicted on the city case, the city is seeking jail time. Because of that, you have been appointed an attorney. If you
Okay.
just leave your headphones on and tell the person that gave you the headphones that you need to go to the virtual breakout room so you
I
can have
need
a
to go-
conversation with your
I need to go to
attorney.
the virtual breakout room. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to whistle at you, Your Honor. I was whistling Christmas music and realized I was not on mute. My apologies.
You know what? Nothing wrong with getting into the spirit of the season.
Absolutely.
Did you have a chance to speak to Mr. Laughlin?
I did, Your Honor. We've negotiated a resolution in this particular case. I did visit with Mr. Rankin, and instead of the $100 fine, he's agreed to do a 30-day underlying jail sentence in this case. He's completed that by giving him credit for time served. He's been here for a couple of months already. Once he's done in Wyandotte County, he's going to be going to Jackson County, and he believes he's here for at least 2 more weeks. So we'd ask the court to grant his plea here today, or accept his plea here today, sentence him to 30 days, credit for time served, no fines, no costs. Judge, I have advised my client of his rights to trial, the assistance of counsel, his ability to come in and review discovery, and the right to appeal his charge if he decides to take the case to trial. And if he loses, he understands those rights and is willing to give up those rights in exchange for the plea offered by the city, Your Honor.
Mr. Laughlin, is that your understanding of the plea, that you'd enter a guilty plea to 1 count of possession of paraphernalia? There would be a 30-day jail sentence, and that you and your attorney are requesting credit for time served?
Yeah, yes,
Okay, and those rights that he was talking about, the right to a trial, assistance of counsel, confront witnesses, review of discovery, and to appeal, are those is that your understanding of those rights?
yeah, yes, ma'am.
And knowing all of that, are you wanting to accept the plea offer?
Yes,
Okay, I will sentence you to 30 days, give you credit for time served. Your city matter is closed. Best of luck to you.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Just checking, we're done there.
Yes.
New pod, I'm not quite sure who we're going to end up with. We're kind of a staffing situation. I'll just have to call them out. It'll be Hill, Polk, or Serrano. That's all I can say.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, back soon.
Mr. Probst, are you able to see the ADC emails?
I am, Your Honor. I'm looking at it right now.
Okay, so did you see the email that I sent to ADC and Mr. Weaver regarding Mr. Scott?
I'm looking at it right now, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm guessing he is not able to respond right now. I believe he is in court.
I know that he is in court because I was down there prior to coming into onto the docket here, Your Honor, and I can tell you that my notes show that the reason that Mr. Scott, and I'm not trying to have a ex parte here, but
Mr. Rankin would be, I'm sure, happy to. There we go.
basically he's been completely uncooperative, and so that's why we moved his hearing to December 13th, but we did receive a report on Tory and Scott that indicated that he's not able to, that we're going to have a competency hearing, and he's going to continue to remain incompetent, because as of December 11th, hold on, I'm just going back through my emails, Your Honor. I apologize. Here it is. We got a competency evaluation from Wyandotte Behavioral Health Network indicating that he was uncooperative. And and that he refused to attend any evaluation. He was scheduled for a second attempt to conduct the evaluation and refused, and based upon the lack of cooperation, it's unclear whether he's refusing the evaluation due to mental health concerns or reasons. Therefore, it's recommended he be transferred to Larned State Security Hospital for further evaluation to determine his trial competence.
Okay.
And that was on, what's the date of this letter? My apologies, Your Honor. Well, there's no date on the letter. Oh, the date, we received it on 12/9 and on 12/9, Your Honor.
Okay.
You want me to respond to that with that information so that that
I
gives.
think that might be helpful to Mr. Weaver. I mean, I know that maybe Mr. Rankin might be able to communicate it, but it's probably easier if it comes straight from you. That way Mr. Rankin doesn't have to keep track of all of it.
No worries. Mr. Rankin, do you want me to include you in on this email?
Sure, yeah, that'd be great.
Okay,
Thank you.
you betcha. MK Rankin at Wyco KCK?
Yep.
Pardon me, Judge, Mr. Hill, Feynman Hill, please.
We are ready. Good afternoon, Mr. Hill. I'm Judge Schultz with the Kansas City, Kansas Municipal Court. It looks like, let's see, we do have a $1,000 cash bond pending on the city cases. If you are convicted, there is the possibility of jail time. So you have been appointed an attorney. Mr. Probst, do you want to speak to your client first, or do you want to be heard on bond first?
Judge, I'd like to speak with my client first, see if we could resolve it, as I've received a plea offer from the city.
Okay, Mr. Hill, if you would leave your headphones on and tell the person that gave you the headphones that you need to go to the virtual breakout room so you can have an opportunity to speak to your attorney.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I need to, yes, sir.
Put you with the public defender.
Ms. Holton, on Mr. Hill, is there a pending motion to revoke?
Your Honor, I see there was an amended one from Ms. Henson.
I did not say anything to Mr.
Oh,
about that. I hope that the plea offer contemplated that. Mr. Rankin, if Mr. Probst happens to reach out to you, will you let him know or remind him that there is a motion to revoke pending on the one that ends with 1336?
Absolutely, I can do that, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Probst, did you have an opportunity to speak to your client?
I have, Your Honor. Judge, this is one of those circumstances where Mr. Hill has several pending charges in Wyandotte County District Court that are pretty high-level charges. I think he's got a $200,000 surety, cash or surety bond on these charges, and I would probably be doing my client a disservice asking him to plead guilty to a charge that could potentially impact his criminal history moving forward on these cases. So Judge, at this point, we are asking to continue this case. If the court is inclined to release him and set aside that surety bond in this particular case, we would be grateful for that. And if maybe you want to set this out, he says he's got a docket call on Tuesday. Mr. Boone, Klein Boone is his attorney. I suspect that Mr. Boone will probably set his cases for preliminary hearing, but I can't speak for Mr. Boone. And that preliminary hearing probably won't be till January or February at least. So if the court would like to release him on this particular case and give him an OR bond, and then I guess review this case in 30 days to see where he stands, I think that would be an appropriate request, Your Honor.
Mr. Rankin, what is the city's position on bond?
Judge, I have no objection.
Okay, so Mr. Hill, I will grant you an OR bond with a special condition. You are to have no violent contact with, and I'm probably going to mispronounce this name, and I apologize. Iran, E-R-A, I'm sorry,
Aaron,
Aaron.
yes, ma'am.
Aaron Stonewright. We will continue this for you. Mr. Probst, we could do either January 31st or February 14th.
I'd go January 31st, just in case
Okay.
they get a quicker preliminary hearing setting. Likely no, but you just never know.
Okay. Okay, so we will continue this to January 31st. If you are still in custody, Mr. Hill, we'll see you by video again. Otherwise, if you have been released on the county case, you'll need to appear in person at City Hall January 31st at 1 p.m. We'll send documentation to the jail. They'll put a copy in your property in case you get released, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right,
Thank you,
thank
Judge.
you. Have a good day. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Moving on, next pod, Polk or Serrano. I'm not sure who it'll be.
Okay, thank you.
City court. So what? I don't know. Talk to the judge. I just get a list of people. That's why we're here. Hi, Judge. Pardon me. DeAndrew Polk is here.
Okay.
Yeah, ask your questions.
Good afternoon, Mr. Polk. I'm Judge Schultz with the Kansas City, Kansas Municipal Court. It looks like you are not being held on the city case, but because you are in custody on your county case, we are going to go ahead and see you on your city case. If you are found guilty, the city is seeking jail time, so you have been appointed an attorney. If you would just leave the headphones on and tell the person that gave you the headphones that you need to go to the virtual breakout room so you can have a discussion with your attorney.
Can we go to breakout room? Yeah.
Mr. Probst, did you have an opportunity to speak with your client?
Yes, ma'am.
I did, Your Honor. I had the opportunity to review the charges with Mr. Polk, and I explained to him that he was charged with petty larceny. I also explained to him that the city was willing to resolve the ticket for a guilty plea with 10 days credit. I'm sorry, 10 days jail with credit for time served, no fines, no costs. He understands that this is a misdemeanor conviction on his record, and he also understands that he has a right to a trial, the right to the assistance of counsel, the right to use the power of process of the court to compel production of any evidence, including the attendance of any witness in his favor. Also, the right to not incriminate himself by taking the witness stand, but if he so chose to take the witness stand, no inference from guilt could be drawn from such failure. And additionally, Your Honor, if he took the case to trial and he lost, he'd have the right to appeal. And so, Your Honor, at this point, he's willing to give up all of those rights in exchange for a guilty plea, as indicated previously.
Okay, Mr. Polk, I want to make sure that we're all on the same page here.
Yes,
Is
ma'am.
that your understanding of the plea offer, what Mr. Probst just said?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and it's my understanding that you would be entering a guilty plea. There would be a 10-day jail sentence and you'd get credit for time served. Is that what you would be requesting?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and those rights that Mr. Probst was talking about, right to a trial, assistance of counsel, review of discovery, confront witnesses, and to appeal, is that your understanding of those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And knowing all of that, are you wanting to accept the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I will sentence you to 10 days in jail, give you credit for time served, and the city matter will be closed.
Okay.
Thank
Do
you.
do you know that I already was been in custody since October 30th?
I show that you were booked on October 28th on your county case.
Okay.
Okay, and I do see, I saw that you had, at least you were scheduled for a hearing earlier today
Yes,
on
ma'am.
a 24 CR 1318. I
Yes,
don't know if you actually had the hearing, but when I checked at 7 o'clock this morning, because that's when I first look at it, it looked like you had a hearing scheduled. I don't know if you actually had it though on that.
Yeah, yes, I had it today.
Okay, okay. All right. Thank you. Best of
Thank-
luck to you.
Yes, ma'am. You have a blessed day.
Thank you. You too.
Yes, ma'am.
Somebody has knocked on my door, so just give me one moment, if you please.
And pardon me, Judge, Mr. Serrano's next.
Just give me one moment. Someone has knocked on my door and I need
Sure,
to
sure.
see what's going on.
Absolutely.
Step away for a second.
Okay, well, it looks like a little kid walking down the hall knocked on my door.
Here we go.
All right. Good afternoon, Mr. Serrano. I'm Judge Schultz with the Kansas City, Kansas Municipal Court. It looks like you are not being held on your city cases. But since you are in custody on the county cases, we thought we would see you today. The city is seeking jail time on at least one of the charges. Because of that, you have been appointed an attorney. We will have you leave the headphones on and we'll send you to the virtual breakout room to speak to your attorney.
All right.
So if you would just let Mr. Doyle know you need to go to the virtual breakout room.
Virtual breakout. Yeah.
Mr. Probst, have you had a chance to speak to your client?
I have, Your Honor. As you can see, Mr. Serrano's got a couple of domestic battery charges here. Those would be, and the city's made an offer to plead on those charges. However, if you look at his jail screen, he's got several matters pending across the street. And I think that any kind of a guilty plea in these cases would significantly impact his criminal history across the street. So I suggested to Mr. Serrano that we set this matter over until after those cases are resolved. He currently has a court date, he says, on February 6th of 2025. And so we'd ask the court to set these matters over past that. Yeah, it looks like a preliminary hearing is set on February 6th at 10:30 a.m. I'm not sure if he's being held on this or not. I can't see. Okay. Yeah. So if the court is inclined and is willing to, we'd ask that you set this matter over till after February 6th.
Mr. Rankin, does the city have any objection?
It does not, Judge. That's fine with me.
Okay. So we could continue this to February 14th or February 28th. Mr. Probst, do you have any feeling about that or preference?
No, Your Honor, I tell you that even if he were to plead guilty on or before that court date, I wouldn't want him to plead guilty to anything here until after he was sentenced across the street. And so that's fine. If he pled guilty today, he'd probably have a sentencing date mid-February. So of course, he's not pleading guilty today. So I think the February 28th is a good date for a status.
We will continue this to February 28th at 1 p.m. Mr. Serrano, if you're still in custody on those county cases, we'll see you by video. If you have been released on your county cases, you'll need to appear in person at City Hall, February 28th at 1 o'clock. We'll send notice to the jail. They'll place a copy of that in your property so that if you are released, you'll have that paperwork with you.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. You guys have some happy holidays.
You too.
New pod, new floor, Judge Savon Brooks.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is resisting arrest a person misdemeanor? Does anybody know?
I can't remember off the top of my head. I know we looked this up and I should have made a note.
And I'll look it up here. Is resisting arrest a person misdemeanor in Kansas? Resisting arrest can be a misdemeanor or felony depending on circumstances. Resist is usually a misdemeanor penalty. If the underlying charge was a misdemeanor or civil case, the charge is a Class A non-person misdemeanor. If the underlying charge was a felony or parole violation, the charge is a level 9 non-person felony.
So either way, it's non-person.
Yeah, that's what I am surmising. I'm assuming it would be comparable to interference with a law enforcement officer, which is also a non-person misdemeanor.
Get back on. Pardon me, Judge, Savon Brooks is ready, Mr. Brooks.
We're ready. Good afternoon, Mr. Brooks. I'm Judge Schultz with the Kansas City, Kansas Municipal Court. It looks like you do have a $400 cash bond pending with the city. If you are convicted of the charges in the city is seeking jail time on at least one of them. For that reason, we have appointed an attorney to your case. Mr. Probst, do you want to be heard on bond first, or do you want to speak to your client first?
Judge, if I could speak with my client, I would be great.
Okay. Mr. Brooks, if you would leave the headphones on, but let the person know who gave you the headphones that you need to go to the breakout room, he will help you with that.
Breakout room.
Yeah.
I'll go there now.
It's gonna
Mr. Probst, have you had an opportunity to speak to your client?
I have, Your Honor, and I think we are on the same page about what's happening here. I've explained to him what his charges are and identified the dates and the location as to where those charges occurred. The city has made an offer to resolve these charges. He's charged with 2 counts of resisting and operating without a proper vehicle license and no insurance and a driving license suspended. The city has offered to have him plead to 1 resisting arrest ending in 1257. He's to complete an anger management program. He's got a 30-day underlying jail sentence. So basically 30 days of jail, but they would suspend that if he completes his probation. He would not have to do any jail. He has to refrain from negative law enforcement contact, not violate the law. He'd have 6 months of probation and he'd have to pay $150 in fines and costs. The only thing is Judge, he is currently obviously incarcerated for some matters that took place, and he's got a docket call on December 31st. If the court were to accept his plea today and place him on probation, I've tried to explain to him that I did not think that the probation or the prosecutor would revoke him for failing to report to probation because they would see that he was incarcerated. So if he would like to take that plea today, with that understanding, and additionally, Your Honor, he understands that he has the right to a trial, the right to the assistance of our office, the right to not incriminate himself by taking the witness stand, and the right to appeal if he were to take the case to trial and lose. He also understands that the resisting arrest would be a conviction for a misdemeanor on his record. And he's advised me he's willing to waive all of his rights and take this case to take the plea offer extended by the city.
Mr. Brooks, is that your understanding of the plea? You'd be entering a guilty plea to 1 count of resisting arrest. The remainder of the charges would be dismissed. There would be an underlying 30-day jail sentence, meaning you don't do the jail time as long as you successfully complete the 6 months of probation. Pay a $150 fine, not to violate the law, refrain from negative law enforcement contact, and attend an anger management class.
Yes, ma'am.
And those rights that he was talking about, the right to a trial, assistance of counsel, review of discovery, confront witnesses, and to appeal, is that your understanding of those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And knowing all of that, are you wanting to accept the plea offer?
Yes, ma'am.
So what we'll do, because you do have an upcoming court date on your county cases, December 31st, we'll continue this to January 9th for a probation check-in. If you're in Wyandotte County Jail, we'll just give you a new date. It's not going to count against you. But if you have been released on those county cases, you need to appear in person January 9th at 10 a.m. at City Hall. We'll send notice over to the jail. They'll place a copy in your property. That way, if you are released, you have a copy of it. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Best of luck to you, and you can give the headphones back to Mr. Doyle.
Thank you.
Okay, Judge, just checking done here.
Yes.
Very good. Moving to the female pod, different floor. I'll be back soon.
Okay.
Good. So while he's doing that, I'm just going to run to the restroom. I'll be right back.
Sounds good.
Pardon me, Judge, Ms. Cunningham, Alicia Cunningham.
Sounds good. Good afternoon, Ms. Cunningham.
Hello.
It looks like you are not being held on the city cases, but if you are found guilty, the city is seeking jail time. So you have been appointed an attorney. We're gonna have you keep the headphones on and let Mr. Doyle, the person that gave you the headphones, know that you need to go to the breakout room to speak to your attorney.
I need to go.
Keep those on.
What if,
I'm sorry.
I don't even know what's going on. What are these charges?
Well, you're talk to the defense attorney. That's where we're.
Mr. Probst, did you have an opportunity to speak to your client?
I did, Your Honor. Ms. Cunningham well, I'm seeing in the offer that she's got operating a vehicle under the influence of alcohol. What I'm seeing in IMDS that she also has a giving false information, but I can't tell if that case is opened or closed. Do we know? Can you
That
see that?
one, it looks like she entered a guilty plea to that February 27th of 2023.
Okay,
And it looks like she still has a balance of $93.50.
Okay, wonderful. I just wanted to make sure that we were trying to include everything in our thing here today. So, Your Honor, she was granted probation in her case across the street, but she has a parole hold, which is what's keeping her. I don't believe that this court is holding her on anything.
We are not.
Okay, and so what we're asking for is she's not willing to accept the city's plea offer at this point. She'd like to be able to review this discovery and potentially see if she has a defense to these charges. We're asking the court to set this over a week or maybe 2 weeks and see where she stands because she believes that parole is going to release her from her parole hold, which would then allow her to get out of custody, come to court, set up an appointment with our office to review everything.
Okay, Mr. Rankin, what's the city's position? You are,
No objection, Judge.
okay, Mr. Probst, either, 1 or 2 weeks works for us. That would either be December 27th or January 3rd. Which would you prefer?
I would think January 3rd would be better because I don't know that parole is going to do much next week because of the holidays. So I'm going to try to give them at least 2 weeks to make a decision about what to do. And of course, if she gets out, then she'll be made aware that she needs to show up here on January 3rd.
So what we'll do is we will continue this to January 3rd at 1 p.m. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Best of luck to you, Miss Cunningham.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a beautiful Christmas.
Thank you.
Jones. And Miss Jones is next.
Okay. Good afternoon, Ms. Jones. I'm Judge Schultz with the Kansas City, Kansas Municipal Court.
Good
It
afternoon.
looks,
Thank you for having me.
thank you. It looks like you are being held on the city cases. There is a $750 cash bond pending. The city is seeking jail time if you were to be convicted on some of those charges. You have been appointed an attorney. Mr. Probst, do you want to speak to your client first, or do you want to be heard on bond first?
Judge, I'd like to speak with my client first, please.
Okay, Ms. Jones, if you would leave the headphones on, but let the person know that gave you the headphones that you need to go to the breakout room.
I
And
need
Judge,
to go
just
to the
to
breakout room because they suggested for me to speak to him. He said,
I got you. Breakout room, and I knew exactly what you needed.
Judge, just to confirm, she's only got these cases pending. I don't see anything else in the jail, do you?
That's all I saw when I looked at 7:30 this morning.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Mr. Probst, have you had an opportunity to speak with your client?
Yes, Judge, I reviewed with Ms. Jones the allegations that she's charged with here in Kansas City, Kansas Municipal Court, and I did discuss with her that the city's made a plea offer. Judge, but I'm not recommending at this point that she take that plea offer without having the opportunity to come into our office and review these. She did advise me that she probably was picked up on this warrant because she previously posted a bond and failed to appear on that bond. And she wants the court to know that at the time that she did all that, she didn't have the means to drive and didn't have the ability to drive, which made it, of course, very difficult for her to get to court. She says that she's went through all of her child in need of care proceedings and she's got her kids and that she's working towards trying to make a better life for herself and her family. And she wants to resolve these things. And she says that now that she has the financial means and the ability to handle the issues going on with her kids, that she's going to now be able to make the time to get these matters resolved. With that in mind, Your Honor, we understand that there's a bond here, and we're asking the court to basically give her an OR bond, because if she were to be found guilty, there's going to be significant fines involved in these particular cases as well. And if she ultimately decides to take the plea, then she could utilize the money instead of paying a bondsman to satisfy those fines and costs, etc. So we're asking the court to give her an OR bond and set this matter for the first week in January.
Mr. Rankin, what is the city's position?
Judge, I would object just on the grounds that she's been in jail several times since these charges were filed and continues to fail to appear.
Ms. Jones, I am going to grant you an OR bond over the city's objection. However, it is an OR bond with special conditions. You are to have no violent contact with Malcolm Bass, and you are not to drive unless you are properly insured and licensed. In addition, I will be continuing this to January 9th at 1 p.m. If you fail to appear on January 9th, they could issue a bench warrant with a no bond hold, meaning that you would be held until your cases would be resolved, okay? So
Yes,
when we're
ma'am.
done with the docket, we'll send that notice over to the jail. So it could still be a few hours, but you will get out today. When you are released, they'll give you a paper showing January 9th at 1 p.m., okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And Ms. Sitlington.
Afternoon. Ms. Sitlington, if you would just give me one moment, I've got to finish my note on Ms. Jones, and then we'll start with you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for your patience. I'm Judge Schultz with the Kansas City, Kansas Municipal Court. It looks like you are not being held on the city cases, but since you are in custody on the county cases, we thought we would see you now. It also looks like if you are convicted of at least one of them, the city is seeking jail time. You have been appointed an attorney. If you would please leave the headphones on and let Mr. Doyle know, the person that gave you the headphones, that you need to go to the breakout room so you can have a conversation with your attorney.
I'm going to go to, yes.
With your attorney.
Judge, you're muted.
Mr. Probst, have you had an opportunity to speak to your client?
I have, Judge. She's got some pending matters in Waco, so this is similar to the other matters. I'm not comfortable with having her plead guilty to a person misdemeanor in this case. Her prelim is currently set for February 6th, I believe, at 9 a.m. So I'd ask that you set this matter over until after that date to see what happens. Give her a court date, and if she's released on this, if she's released on that, I don't think you're holding her on this, and she would just need to appear in court.
We are not holding her, so we could put this either on February 14th or February 28th.
Let's do the 28th, just in case.
Okay, and I'm so sorry, Mr. Rankin, I forgot to ask, does the city have any objection?
I do not, Judge. No.
Okay. So we will continue this to February 28th at 1 o'clock. As your attorney stated, the city isn't holding you on this case, so if the county does release you, you will need to appear in person at City Hall. Otherwise, we'll see you on video again. We do send notice to the jail and they place a copy in your property. That way, if you are released, you'll have that information, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, that's it for my list, Judge.
Yes, thank you. I
right.
hope everybody has a good weekend.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.